The deepest betrayals often come not from enemies, but from those who call themselves friends. You know the type. They smile to your face, but quietly undermine your confidence behind their back. They feign care, yet their actions drain your energy, dim your light, and keep you small. These are covert adversaries, masquerading as allies. If you're not vigilant, they can erode your peace for years, leaving you questioning your own sanity. Today, I'll reveal 5 unmistakable signs you're dealing with a hidden foe, and why cutting ties isn't just an option, it's a necessary act of self-preservation. This isn't speculation or casual advice. These are real behavioral patterns psychologists identify in toxic relationships. If you've ever felt a chill in your gut after talking to someone who calls you a friend, pay close attention. Your inner peace is priceless. Your growth, your calm, and your resolve deserve protection. Grab a drink, settle in, and let's be honest with each other. If this resonates, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and comment about your own encounters with these covert betrayers. Together, we'll unmask the deceivers and build the steady, authentic relationships you deserve. First, understand the covert adversary. Here's a hard truth. Some of the cruelest betrayals don't come from open enemies, but from those who claim to be your friends. They don't show hostility outright. They hide it behind smiles, false concern, and polished facades. You think they're in your corner, yet they're playing a long game, slowly chipping away at your self-assurance. One day, you're second-guessing every choice, wondering if you're too sensitive or imagining things, but you're not. That's the mark of a covert foe, outwardly supportive, but quietly tearing you down when it matters most. They're masters of disguise, reading the room and adapting their behavior. Alone with you, they're encouraging, praising your ideas. But in a crowd, that support vanishes, replaced by subtle digs that make you look foolish or unprepared. You might share a private idea, and they call it brilliant. But in a group, they say, it's an option, but probably not practical, planting doubt without owning the sabotage. This duplicity isn't random. It's a calculated move to keep you off balance. The more you doubt yourself, the less you suspect them. It's dangerous because each instance feels minor, hard to pinpoint. A careless remark here, a half-hearted compliment there. When you confront them, they play innocent. That's not what I meant. Or, you're misreading it. This is emotional manipulation, designed to make you question your own reality. Psychologists call it covert abuse, a subtle, persistent fog of confusion and doubt. Picture this. You're working on a community project. You've poured hours into planning, rallying volunteers, securing funds. In private, they praise your leadership, admire your drive. But in public meetings, they highlight flaws you never mentioned. Framing your work as hasty or inexperienced, you leave those meetings feeling diminished, embarrassed, and worst of all, betrayed. This is the hallmark of a covert adversary. Their aim isn't to help you grow, but to stifle your progress, just enough to ensure you never outshine them. Their approval is conditional, their criticism strategic. They crave a power imbalance, where you lean on them to validate your choices. Honestly, this isn't just irritating, it's dangerous. Over time, you lose faith in yourself and hand your confidence to the least deserving. The Stoic philosophers saw this dynamic clearly. Epictetus warned, "If someone can anger you, know that your mind is complicit." This doesn't mean you're to blame for their malice, but you control how you respond. Recognizing their game is the first step to breaking free. You don't need to outplay or fight them on their terms. You simply see through them and refuse to be drawn in. The Stoic approach is about clarity and emotional distance. It's not about shutting others out, but refusing to let them define your worth. When you notice someone acting differently in private versus public, don't make excuses for them. Accept the truth they reveal. Don't try to fix them. Set boundaries. You might limit what you share, reduce contact, or in some cases, cut them off entirely. This isn't cruelty, it's preserving your dignity. You deserve friends who don't make you feel small or sow doubt for their gain. True allies are consistent. Whether you're alone or in a crowd, they root for your success, even when it doesn't benefit them. Accepting that a trusted friend might work against you hurts, but it's a necessary pain to clear your path. That realization creates space for connections built on honesty and mutual respect. You can't control someone's choice to manipulate, but you can refuse to play their game. Strengthen your character, sharpen your clarity, and stand firm against their duplicity. Stoic wisdom offers real power here. It doesn't promise you'll avoid pain or betrayal, but it ensures you can rise above without being broken. It reminds you that your worth is yours to uphold. Spotting these signs early helps you reclaim your peace sooner. If this hits home, let me know by commenting yes below. Your input matters, and I want to hear from you. As we move to the next section, competitive sabotage, we'll explore how these people not only undermine your confidence in secret, but actively block your success while pretending to support you. The next sign reveals how far a false friend will go to keep you from outshining them, and how Stoic thinking equips you to stand strong against their hidden hostility. 2. Competitive sabotage. Let's dive into one of the most insidious and corrosive signs of a false friend: competitive sabotage. This isn't healthy rivalry. True competition sharpens both sides, pushing you to grow. You cheer for your friends' victories while chasing your own goals. That's mutual respect, a forge for progress. But false friends don't play by those rules. Your success feels like a threat, dimming their own light. Their sabotage isn't blatant, no outright insults or confrontations. It's cunning, cloaked in concern or advice. They chip away at your confidence with seemingly sincere suggestions. Imagine you're eyeing a major promotion, the fruit of years of grind, and you share your excitement with a trusted friend. Instead of encouragement, they nod gravely, warning you about office politics, hinting you might lack the experience, suggesting you wait until you're truly ready. By the end, you're questioning whether to even try. You think they're being honest. But look closer. Their words don't clarify, they sow doubt. That's not care, it's sabotage. Plain and simple. Their goal is to make you hesitate, to keep you from surpassing them. It's easier for them to kill your ambition than to face their own insecurities. Competitive sabotage goes beyond words. It shows up in shared projects. Maybe you're co-organizing a community event, splitting tasks evenly. But when deadlines hit, they show up late, unprepared, or leave you to clean up their mess. You look incompetent by association while they protect their reputation. Or They promise feedback on a critical presentation, then back out at the last minute, leaving you scrambling. Worse still is how they handle your wins. When you land that promotion or award, they can't just congratulate you. They downplay it, suggesting it's less prestigious than another role, or implying you had an unfair edge. These moments sting, not just because of their words, but because of who they come from. You trusted them. You expected support. The betrayal cuts deep. Worse, it's hard to prove. Each comment or slip can be spun as a misunderstanding, making you seem paranoid if you call it out. The Stoics saw these tactics as external threats to your inner peace, but not insurmountable. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's the key to surviving competitive sabotage. You can't control their envy of your success. You can't change their destructive rivalry, but you can control your response. First, recognize the pattern. Don't dismiss that gut unease when someone repeatedly dampens your drive or plants doubt just as you're ready to leap. Your instincts aren't paranoia, they're warnings. Once you see the pattern, stop playing their game. Limit sharing your goals and plans. Don't give them leverage to use against you. Second, don't let their words steer your choices. You don't owe anyone your smallness. If you're aiming for that promotion, apply. If you're ready to launch your idea, do it. Weigh their feedback objectively. But don't let their so-called realism, born of their own gain, hold you back. Finally, guard your peace by setting boundaries. This doesn't always mean cutting them off. It's about redefining the relationship. If someone can't handle your success, they don't deserve access to your deepest plans and dreams. This is a hard but liberating truth. False friends don't undermine you because you're unworthy. Your potential threatens them. Their actions reflect their insecurities, not your value. When you stop shrinking to ease their discomfort, you reclaim your power. True friends compete constructively. They push you forward, not hold you back. They celebrate your wins because they're secure enough to know your success doesn't diminish them. Anyone who tries to dim your light isn't a true ally. They're an anchor dragging you down. As we move to the next sign, conditional support, we'll see how these false friends weaponize their help, tying it to invisible strings that drain your emotional energy and bind you to obligation. What about you? Have you faced this subtle sabotage in your life? Drop a comment and share your story. Let's shine a light on these toxic patterns and break free together. 3. Conditional support. True friendship is built on trust and unwavering support, not scorekeeping or trading favors. It's not about calculating who owes what or showing up only when it suits them. But false friends operate by different rules. Their support is never free. It's transactional, conditional, a currency to keep you indebted and off balance. This isn't friendship. It's manipulation dressed as loyalty. Consider a client of mine, Lisa, who knew Jenna from college. On the surface, they were inseparable: trips, dinners, deep talks. But over time, Lisa noticed something troubling. When she hit rough patches, like losing a job or her father, Jenna vanished. Calls went unanswered. Texts ignored. Yet when Lisa landed a new role or got invited to a big event, Jenna reappeared, arms open, eager to bask in the glow. She'd pose for photos at Lisa's promotion party, shining in her success. standing tall when it made her look connected and accomplished. But when Lisa needed late-night comfort, Jenna was nowhere. It took Lisa years to see the cycle. Jenna's support was tied to status and advantage. Her kindness wasn't for Lisa, it was for building her own image. When Lisa set boundaries and asked why Jenna disappeared in tough times, Jenna played the victim, wielding past favors as weapons. She reminded Lisa of the time she helped plan her wedding or joined her on trips, implying Lisa owed her loyalty no matter what. That's the trap of conditional support. There's always a catch. They track every favor, every help, every kind word, waiting to cash in when it suits them. You start wondering if you can ever say no. Given all they've done, they're quick to remind you when you step out of line. This toxic dynamic forces you to serve their emotions. You prioritize their needs, their comfort, their approval over your own boundaries, just to keep the peace. You tell yourself you're being a good friend, but in truth, you're just avoiding their punishment, silent treatment, withdrawal, or passive-aggressive guilt trips. Real friendship doesn't keep score. Healthy relationships have a natural give and take, where sometimes you need more, sometimes they do. But trust balances it out over time. You don't need to prove your worth for them to show up. You don't have to earn their care by staying small, grateful, or dependent. What makes conditional support so damaging is its subtlety at first. It feels generous until you see the cost. That's the danger. It preys on your gratitude and good intentions. Over time, you're conditioned to expect inconsistency, to hesitate asking for help unless you're ready to pay it back in full. The Stoics teach that your peace of mind should never be held hostage to someone else's whims. Marcus Aurelius said, "When you wake each morning, think of the privilege of being alive, of thinking, of enjoying, of loving. That includes the right to give and receive love freely, without strings." When someone turns support into a bargaining chip, they violate a fundamental human dignity. So how do you handle it? First, see the pattern. Don't excuse their absence as busyness or bad timing when it's a repeated cycle. If they vanish in your struggles, but show up to bask in your wins, call it what it is. Second, stop bargaining for their affection. You don't need to trade emotional labor for friendship. Their withdrawal is their choice, not your failure. Don't let them guilt you into prioritizing their comfort over your mental health. Third, set boundaries without apology. Limit what you share. You don't owe them a front-row seat to your life's milestones if they haven't earned that trust. You can still be civil, kind, without letting them into your most vulnerable spaces. Most importantly, build a resilient spirit. As the Stoics advise, when you no longer rely on external validation to feel worthy, their manipulative games lose power. You become your own ally, steadfast, loyal, generous, expecting nothing in return. That strength draws people who live the same way. Recognizing conditional support doesn't make you cold or cruel. It makes you honest. It frees you from years of unfair emotional servitude. It restores your right to ask for help without debt and to savor your victories without owing anyone the spotlight. If this resonates, comment yes below. Your voice matters, and I want to hear it. As we move to the next topic, weaponizing information, we'll uncover a deeper betrayal when a trusted friend collects your secrets only to use them against you later. This is one of the most painful forms of manipulation, and spotting it early is vital to protect your dignity and peace. Think of those moments when something truly good happens. A big contract signed, a dream home found, or reassuring health news after weeks of worry. Your instinct is to share that joy with those closest to you, expecting them to celebrate alongside you, to affirm your triumph. That's what friendship should be, a safe harbor for your victories. But with a false friend, you get something else. Instead of joy, you face dismissal. Instead of congratulations, you get critique. You share your new home, and they point out the neighborhood's flaws or warn you about the landlord. You announce hitting a sales target, and they counter with a bigger achievement or remind you, numbers aren't everything. This isn't accidental. It's a deliberate tactic to dim your enthusiasm, to shrink your wins so they don't feel overshadowed. I've heard this from a client who earned a prestigious award after years of being overlooked. She was elated to tell her friend, but instead of praise, she got a forced smile and a comment that the award was mostly political, that others, more deserving, were ignored. After the call, she felt ashamed for even mentioning it, as if her pride was arrogance or naivety. This is joy-stealing at its most subtle. It's not social clumsiness or a random oversight. It's a calculated refusal to share in your happiness. To them, your victory feels like their loss. It exposes their stagnation, their discontent, their insecurities. Instead of facing those feelings, they choose to control you by diminishing your joy. Psychologists call this joy-stealing. It's one of the deepest relational wounds because our milestones matter. We affirm our worth through celebration, telling ourselves, this was worth it. I did well. When someone consistently denies that affirmation, they plant seeds of self-doubt. Over time, you start downplaying your wins. You qualify your good news with disclaimers. You shrink your achievements before they can be dismissed. Eventually, you might stop sharing altogether, choosing silence to avoid the risk of being belittled or ignored. This isn't trivial. It erodes your sense of self. It sends a message: your success is inconvenient, your happiness excessive, your pride arrogant. Worst of all, it makes you feel responsible for managing their emotions about your life. The Stoics knew others' reactions are beyond our control, but our responses are ours. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." The pain isn't just in the false friend's words, but in how we internalize them, letting them define our achievements' worth. Recognizing this pattern is the first step. You can't change their insecurities, but you can refuse to let them judge your joy. Stop sharing your wins with those who don't honor them. Share instead with those who cheer loudly, who are genuinely proud of your growth, who don't see your success as a critique of their choices. If you must keep these false friends in your life due to work, family, or shared circles, manage the relationship with clear-eyed realism. Don't grant them access to your life's most significant moments. Keep them out of your inner circle, where you share the best of your victories. Don't let them turn your joy into shame. And ask yourself a tough question. Have you ever struggled to celebrate others' wins? Perhaps letting envy taint your response with critiques or warnings. The line between victim and perpetrator can blur if we're not honest with ourselves. Being a true friend means setting aside your insecurities long enough to honor someone else's moment. Real allies show up consistently, cheering without conditions, creating space for your light to shine. They don't see joy as a scarce resource to be rationed. They know there's enough for everyone. If someone can't or won't celebrate with you, it's not your job to fix them. Your duty is to protect your peace, hold fast to your victories, and share them with those who truly want you to thrive. As we wrap up these warning signs, reflect on what you've learned. Spotting false friends isn't about distrusting everyone. It's about seeing clearly the patterns that drain your spirit and steal your calm. In the next section, we'll focus on setting real boundaries and reclaiming your space from these subtle saboteurs. If you've faced this kind of sabotage or struggled to celebrate your own wins because of someone else's influence, share your thoughts below. Let's name these patterns and help each other find stronger, truer connections. If you feel that tension in your chest, recognizing these signs in someone close, know this: you're not overreacting. You're waking up. You're seeing the truth that's been wearing you down for too long. It takes courage to admit a trusted friend is undermining your peace. But this awareness is a gift. You don't need to keep playing their game or trade your sanity for politeness. You can choose clarity over confusion, strength over compliance. The Stoics teach us to focus only on what we control. You decide who enters your heart, your mind, your trusted circle. Starting today, draw those lines. Say no to those who diminish your joy and worth. Say yes to guarding your energy for those who truly understand and celebrate you. That's not malice, it's self-respect. It's freedom. You deserve relationships that are safe, honest, and supportive. You deserve to share your successes without shame, to ask for help without debt, to be yourself without fear of sabotage. Don't let anyone shrink you to soothe their own insecurities. If this perspective has clarified things for you, don't keep it to yourself. Like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Comment below and tell me which sign hit you the hardest. Let's keep this conversation going. The journey to peaceful, authentic, resilient relationships starts now. And the future, you will thank you for every boundary you set today.